Good evening, all, and thank you for coming back. I have no right to be up this late and be with you, but I appreciate the fact that you're with me. And tonight we're going to talk about owning your faith. So give that some thought, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. Well, welcome back, and like I said in the beginning, I'm so tired. It was a long day, and it was a hot day, and I have no right to be sitting at this desk at this time of night, but here I am. The insomniac in me keeps me up, and this is what I do. I sit up and I think and I write, and now I guess podcast too. So this is my new form of journalizing and writing, and perhaps even some poetry, which I very much like to get to. But tonight I want to talk about owning your faith, and I want to be real. And I'm not going to define faith as any one particularly religious belief. So we're going to speak with faith in a general sense, because like I've said before, I have a lot of readers and followers, particularly on other social media that I do, where my audience is a vast audience, and I'm not here to speak about specific religions or that type of thing. I want to talk in general about these things because I think they're relevant to everybody and to all of us. So owning your faith. When life is good, when things are going great, you wake up and you're just feeling great. You look outside, it's exactly the day you imagined it would be, and everybody's happy and healthy, and your faith is strong. So much so that you maybe even project that out into the community, at your workplace, and or school, wherever. You're just on top of the world that day. And then something happens. We fall short in something. We fail at something. We lose at something. We lose someone, whether through a relationship or a passing or something sudden that's happened. And our faith dwindles almost instantly. And that's when we need to own it. We need to look at ourselves in the mirror, in the screen. That's where I look at myself and say, what do I believe? What do I believe in? Who do I believe in? And we then have to understand that who we believe in or what we believe in is constant and true. The energy, the love, the light source that guides us is perfect. But our faith journey is all over the place, like a big sine wave. So here's that perfect thing coming across. I'm sorry you can't see my hand, but I'm just leveling it across the screen at the bottom here. It's the flat path. But our lives and our journeys are all over the place. Our paths are all over the place. When we're little and when we're kind of trying to figure it all on our own, we're so close to the center line of anything's possible and everything's possible, and I'm being guided by a force that's just so much stronger than me. I'm going to go climb that tree even though I really shouldn't be doing it, or I'm going to go do this or that. Our passion and our innocence are just bubbling over. You could see that with my walk, my yesterday's podcast, a walk in the cemetery with my grandson. So, as we get older in particular, and we start to question life and question events and maybe question ourselves, it starts getting a little scary, and we lose a lot of the definition perhaps we had before, if we had some. We start to believe that our Creator, our God, isn't who we believe they are, or that energy isn't what we believe that energy to be. And we start to wobble a little bit on our faith. But if you're going to be faithful, then own that. Know that what you're feeling and what you're striving to learn and understand is consistent, and it's true, and it's real. It doesn't. We'll talk about the faith in our Creator. Our Creator is love, is light, is so many beautiful things. We're the ones going up and down and making the poor choices and things. That love and that light stays right steady with us. Sometimes we rise up to join it, and sometimes we hide underneath it. Sometimes we shut the door on it, or just pretend we never had it in the first place. And it's not easy. You experience the first death of somebody very important to you, or someone who you have made plans with. You're, on the adult part of your life, and you have all this to look forward to, and then something happens and that's gone, and you think, why me, and why this, and why that? And of course that's human, that's natural to feel that way. But I would ask you not to think about why me and why this, and oh, this has happened again, and or whatever it may be. And first of all, always breathe. Nice deep breath. Slow that mind down, slow that heart down, get them in sync, because when they're not in sync, you're all over the place. And start to think about, okay, this happened, so what does that mean to me? Not what did it do to me, why did it do it to me, but what am I taking from this? What am I learning from this? And of course, at the moment, your adrenaline's through the ceiling. You're not thinking about all that. You're crying, you're screaming, you're hollering, or whatever emotions are coming out time. But when you get a chance and those emotions are simmering down a little bit, and you're breathing, you're taking deep breaths in and out and letting everything catch up to you, and then you start to own your faith. There are things that happen in your life that are seemingly so small but are incredibly huge. Sometimes we get so caught up in cell phones and computers and things that we don't even see the energy, the miracle, if you want to call it that, around us, that's guiding us and helping us all the time. And because we get so wrapped up on what we read and what we see, and we start losing a little bit about what we feel. Not what we feel out here in this acute area out here that's very superficial, but what we feel way in here. That part that we used to listen to quite a lot. It's very intelligent. And when the part of in our heart and our soul and our brain start to connect, it's amazing. One of my favorite passages in the Christian Bible is, "Be still and know that I'm God." That's powerful. Be still and know that I'm God. Of course, if you read it in ancient Hebrew, God is not that nice. God says, shut up and listen. You can go read it yourself. God doesn't, he put it out there the way it needed to be said. we've kind of lightened it up a little bit for ourselves, and more romantic to be still and know that I'm God. But back then in the Old Testament and the Jewish faith, God said, "Shut up and listen. Just stop." Got parental is what I like to say when I'm with families and I have to say things that it just gotta. I always call it getting parental. So I believe our Creator or God sometimes has to get parental with us. So shut up, sit down, and listen to me, and we're gonna figure this out. And so often in life, when you pull that tension away from yourself and you pull that anxiety and you take those hands that are gripping the steering wheel and you let them relax a little bit, and you happen to look to the side and see the fields, and you happen to look up in the sky and see the beautiful clouds, and you're not just in your car doing this and just gripped and just focused on getting right there to that spot and as fast as I can and get out of my way, instead of being like this. And we'll find a way. We'll get a way. Never fails. You're on your way to work, and here comes Mama, Papa, or whomever in front of you going 20 miles an hour. And you're thinking, "Oh no, Lord, you just didn't do this to me." But if you relax a little bit and you breathe, they might have been put there because if you had sped around them, you could have been involved in a very serious accident or hurt somebody. Or they were slowing down because they saw kids getting ready to cross the street or something. And in your tense moment like this, you're so tunnel visioned, you don't even care right now, because you just want to find that way where you can swerve around them and get to the other side. And you're not down here relaxing and breathing. And the opposite could be true. The energy, the universe, God could have put you behind them, knowing that you would take a breath and breathe and help the struggling old couple who's not really sure where they are, and they're trying to go to their favorite place, but they've gotten a little confused as to where it is. And they need somebody with some kindness and compassion behind them, not somebody honking a horn and giving them all sorts of gestures and speeding around them and making them even more nervous. Maybe today that's you giving them that opportunity. We don't know why things are put in front of us. We don't know why certain aspects of life happen to us, and why things are taken away from us or brought before us. But when we begin to own our faith, truly own it, doesn't make it easier. There is nothing easy about life. There's just life. Do you hear this? There is no good life or easy life or bad life. There's life. There are going to be days when it is a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year, a great journey of success. But there's also going to be angry days and sad days and days of great depression, and so we have life. Sometimes life is high as a kite, and sometimes you think you got two anchors tied to your toes and they're pulling you right on down. But it's just life. And we try to get back up to that even line, even though our passions and our tragedies are going all over that wave. So honor life, honor the moments of life. And when things happen to you, when you experience beautiful things or you experience tragic things, then take those and make them good. Make the beautiful things even better and celebrate them. learn from the tragic things and step up a little bit to maybe help someone in a similar circumstance, or just be able to, gosh, just to stand behind somebody who's having the worst day of their life and not push them forward because you got to get home. That's a gift. And that's when you start to own your faith. God, Allah, it's Yahweh, it's energy, universe, Mother Nature. The title you give for the creator of your faith is, there's so many titles, but we are talking about an energy, a superior being that we all live within, and a superior force almost, I guess. I might lose a few of you on that, but that's just a thought. I try to be open and try to share my thoughts openly. I don't try to hide what I'm going to say, and everything I say is said in love. It is never said to demean or anger anybody. But let's take a moment of tragedy, something in your life, and we all have them. There's a day, there's been a day, there's been 2 days, there's been 4 days, there's been 10 days in your past where you thought, it is the worst day of my life and I'm never going to make it past this day. You might as well just take me away because I'm done. And yet here we are. You're not done. You chose not to be done. And so what did we take away from that? Did we take stronger ownership of our faith, or did we just pass it off as a lucky coincidence that things kind of turned out okay? And when we start to own our faith, we start to affect the people around us. That life force energy. All of us, all of you out there listening to me, we've all hugged somebody and just wanted to melt away in their arms. I don't care, male, female, family member, not family member. You hug them and you just like I had my son just would, when he was a little boy, just would melt into you. His every muscle just relaxed and just melted into you. That warmth and that love. And it's incredible. And that's the energy, that's the life source, that's the soul, that's who we truly are. Not what we live in, but who we truly are. And then sometimes you get a hug and you feel like someone just took the breath out of you and the energy out of you, and you just want to go cry or take a nap somewhere because there's no energy that was sucked from you. It wasn't given to you or exchanged with you. It was taken from you. And so we understand energy. We may not understand it in the way that I'm talking about it the way I do, but maybe that scenario helps you a little bit to understand that there is energy and there is love and there is light guiding us always. And it's so important to learn and understand that. And I was having a large discussion with somebody about souls. What's a soul? Does an animal have a soul? Does a person have a soul? That's a whole nother video prior to midnight. Just glance up at the clock. Oh my gosh. But we all have life source energy. We all are a creation. And we all have a higher power. Some of us call that higher power one thing and some of us another. And some choose to call it nothing. But there is a higher power. There are no coincidences in life. All things happen for an absolute reason. It's how we handle that event that's going to help us evolve, change, become better than. So, own your faith. Believe that all things are possible, and take your hands off the steering wheel like this and staring down the road like you're going to snap if anything happens, and bring it back a little bit and breathe. Take deep breaths. So many times when we're scared about death, or we're scared about our dying, or we're scared about any number of things, being alone, our heart and our head and our mind, our soul, all the facets within us are scrambling all over the place. It's like trying to follow a hockey game. Oh, it's over there. It's over there. Over the middle. It's. You gotta breathe. Good breaths, in and out breaths, and let them come together. That's when things are going to begin to form for you. And when you start to relax and not tense on that wheel so much in your arms and your legs, and your life begins to relax. It doesn't mean we don't have bad days, and it doesn't mean we don't have days where we cuss and we fuss, because I do, and I'm not proud of it, but I do. That's human. But what did we learn from those things? And how do we walk our walk? Do we walk it in the confidence that we own what we believe in? You can tell when you walk with somebody who owns their faith or owns what they believe in. And it's amazing. And they find the higher purpose in many things. There's a show on that, not sure I'm allowed to mention shows or things, but I watched a show recently where the creator put a stone in a pathway so that when the person was getting ready to do something foolish, they tripped on the stone and ended up still doing something foolish, but not a foolishness that ended their life. So there's no coincidences, and everybody thinks of a bad day as a stepping stone that goes down, that goes down, that goes down. Not true. Good days or bad days, they're stepping stones that gets put on top of the one before it. Whether it was good or bad, it gets put on the top. Doesn't go underneath. That one's already there. Can't go back. Can't go back. That's our foundation. So the next one, good or bad, goes up. The next one, good or bad, goes up. And so on. And so what I'm telling you is, whether our emotions, whether the things we're going through are difficult or that they're fantastic, our stepping stones are still taking us up and evolving us into what we most want to become, whatever that is for you. And if you want to become somebody who's different than who you are, then you gotta do it. I couldn't imagine myself talking to a camera with blue lights on either side, and I'm severely dyslexic, so my eyes are crisscrossing and I'm seeing 4 blue lines and then 3 blue. It's not fun. But it's how I know the camera's on, and I'm trying to look at the camera, but my eyes keep crisscrossing, so I'm looking down here because it's just driving me bonkers. And I totally forgot where I was going with that, but so you can reread that or replay that, and we'll figure it out down the road, and I'll put it in another discussion. But give yourself a break. Life is not easy. There's no part of life that's easy. Everything involves something, and it involves effort on us. If we want a good house, we want a clean house, then guess what? Then we clean it. We want to be good at school, then we study it. And it doesn't matter if you're 50, 60 years old, or you're 10 or 12 years old. If you want something, you have the ability to make it. But you have to own it. And just like your faith, if you are somebody that belongs to a church or a mosque or a synagogue, and you go there regularly, then own that faith. If you've gone there because you're comfortable with where you're at and what you're hearing and what you are feeling, then you must own it. You can't just, well, you can. Sorry I used the word can't. That's not ever fair to you. So when I do, just know that I'm just tripping over words and trying to get where I want to be with you. But we can't just walk out of church being high on the message or whatever that has inspired us for the day, and then get in our car and honk our horn because the old geezer next door is taking too long to get in their car, and it's Sunday afternoon football getting ready to come on the screen. And we got to get home, and we got to order the pizzas and get the subs and break out the beers. We got to get all this done. We ain't have time to sit here and listen to this woman gab about all her things. And it's like, no, you're not owning your faith. Now you're owning your superficial wants and needs. You're not owning your faith. Your faith would tell you, be patient. It's okay. We're going to get through this. The message ran long because it needed to run long. The lady is there maybe because she needs your help, or maybe she's had a hard day. Maybe she's experienced a loss. So maybe that football game and those snacks could wait a few seconds while you take a deep breath and think, how can I make this better? How I was always taught, from as long as I can remember, when you borrow something, you return it better than when you found it or borrowed it. If you borrowed a car and it had half a tank of gas in it, return it with a full tank of gas. If you borrowed a car and it's dirty and it's messy, go clean it. Make things better than when you left them or when you borrowed them before you return them. Do that with all of your life. Make what was better. Smile, handshake, a hug, a good hug, the gives and takes. Don't be upset that the person in front of you's got a bucket load of groceries and you're going to be standing there 30 minutes. How about leave your cart there, go around the side and start bagging the groceries for that person and make their day, because they're upset, because they're embarrassed, because they see the 50 people behind him. They're all going, oh my God, she's got like 5 bottles of cranberry juice and 3 dozen eggs, and she didn't put she got 4 laundry detergents hidden under the cart. They're going to take an hour to pull those, you know. You got all that going on. Well, so the people behind you, the people in front of you, and then when you're there, everybody else is doing it too. So the other day I got in that situation. I was at a grocery store and the line was huge and people were frustrated because nobody can seem to find help. And I just made a deal with the person behind me. I said, when it gets to be my turn, will you please just put my things from my cart on the conveyor belt? And I'm like, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to go up and bag groceries. And I did. I bagged like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 customers' bags. I wasn't bored at that point. I wasn't frustrated that things weren't moving because I was creating the moving. I joked with the cashier. She was so excited because somebody was helping her. I joked with the person who was getting the food, going, oh, I've never seen, oh man, you're making that for dinner? I am so coming to your house. What time is dinner, did you say? You have the ability, particularly when you begin to own your faith, to change so much. Use your gifts for good. Use your gifts for good. Own your faith. Walk with your head held high, not out of proudness, but just out of knowing that all is good and all is purposeful, and you have a role in this. And you can choose. You can choose to use your skills for good. You can use your skills to destroy. When I draw my last breath, I hope that I'm knowing as somebody who gave a little bit to the world, not somebody who took something from it. That's my dream. Maybe some people's dreams are a little different than that. But I'm glancing over and I can see I've been talking for 30 minutes, and I'm sure if you're still here at night with me like this, you're probably struggling too. So, but I wanted to put that out there, and I wanted to share that with you, and I just want you really to remember and understand that we have to own our faith, and don't walk in fear and darkness. Walk in light. And if you're afraid of death, then go put yourself in a situation where you help people through death. Nursing homes, hospice workers, and watch what happens. And sometimes we get so focused on our own death and passing, we forget that it's going to happen to everybody. So maybe going to a nursing home when things open up a little bit, and just holding a hand and thinking, wow, I'm still 30 years younger than this person. I can't imagine what they're thinking. And use that energy to help them. Help make their transition there when they cross the great veil. Make that smooth and filled with love. I mean, we're never ever alone. Don't ever think for 1 minute you're alone. There is so much love and light around us just wanting to come in and do its thing. We're the ones that open and close the doors, not them, not your creator, not your spiritual guides, not the energies that love and care about you. They are there always. We're the ones that open and close the doors and decide who we want to talk to and who we don't, and what lessons we want to learn and what lessons we want to ignore, and whether we want to take those gifts for good that we've been given or put them away for bad. So it's all on us. And I guess lastly too, we are not here on this earth for ourselves. Certainly we're here to evolve and to learn and to grow as spiritual beings. Absolutely. But it's not about us. The picture is so much bigger than us. Doesn't mean you can't be proud of yourself. Doesn't mean you can't become successful in whatever it is that you do. But when we leave this earth, when we do leave it, and we will leave it, what we leave behind is what we gave back to the world, not what we took from it. We gave back to the world while we were here. I've done thousands of funerals, literally. Ain't nobody ever stuck their hand back up and said, give me that, that's mine. They might be remembered as somebody who would do that, but I can promise you it's never happened. Use your gifts for good. Use your love, your light, and your energy, and send that out into the world. That's what survives. That's what people remember. Factories will come and go. Money will come and go. Everything will come and go. But what you give to the world and the lives you change is eternal. It's eternal. I wish you all, and I do mean all, the deepest of peace always. And breathe. It is the greatest gift you can give yourself, is deep breathing. And with that, I will wish you the deepest of peace one more time. And I thank you so much for supporting my channel and getting us through this. Good night.